Do you find yourself buying chemical after chemical to get the look you desire? If this is you, we have a solution. Lady Caramel's Organic Hair Moisturizer. A collection of natural ingredients designed to enhance and make your hair extra special, just the way you want. For more information, call Lady Caramel at 856-575-7621.
All right, welcome back to Let's Get It as we come into our final segment here to closing out. One of the things that we wanted to get into today, I know that it's been in the news recently, is a couple incidents of, once again, racial slurs, anti-Semitic comments that were made. Also, on top of that, the first one we kind of want to get into was the comment from Miami Heat player Myers Leonard, who was seen playing on the video game, expressing the word, using effing kike bitch. Which, again, the word kike is a very derogatory word towards the Jewish people. Probably the worst thing you could call anybody. And the fact that, the way that it was handled was, to me, there was a couple of ways it was handled. I'm going to get all your opinion. I thought, one, I liked how Julian Edelman, a fellow, Jewish person as myself, reached out to him, extended out an invitation to come down, learn about the Jewish religion, learn what that means, educate Myers Leonard on this. And then on the other hand of it, there was the trying to sweep it under the rug, if you ask me. Because I feel like even the national attention was there, but not to the level that I feel like it should have been. And his punishment, a week away from team activities and a $50,000 fine, doesn't justify what was said. And I mean, obviously, it's a more underlying issue. We can attack that one. And then on top of that, we'll get into the other one also. But first, I want to get you guys' thoughts on the Myers-Leonard situation, and then him being at the pro level, and the other incident that we're going to get into with the announcer from the Oklahoma high school, who used some very inappropriate foul language also on his broadcast. But when it comes to the professional level with Myers-Leonard, gentlemen, what are your thoughts on how the NBA handled it and how the Miami Heat handled it? So,
I mean, I'm not so much. I think it's more of a Miami Heat issue than the NBA issue. I just don't think there's any place for it. Right. So I don't understand, a $50,000 fine, and I haven't done the math on it. I would love to see what that is in relation to his salary for the year. Myers Leonard is injured for the season, so he's already away from the team. So that's nothing. So I don't understand. I don't think there's a place. There has to be some repercussions for your actions.
Yes.
And I don't think when we don't hold people accountable because they're an NBA player, because they're whatever they may be, whoever they may be, it's the same thing with the guy from Creighton that we talked about last week. He was back the next day. When we don't hold people accountable, it shows other people that, this is all that happens if this happens. Myers Leonard came back with a statement, I have to be more careful with my words. No, you don't have to be more careful. That's just not a good way to think.
Or express yourself, right.
It's not about being careful. If you have to be careful, obviously that's how you really feel. I have to be careful not to curse around my kids, right? Because that's the way I speak. If I'm just talking, I use curse words a lot. So I have to be careful when I'm at school not to curse. I have to be careful. I don't have to be careful not to be racist. I don't have to do that. I don't think about that. That's just not who I like. So I mean, I guess it just kind of shows who people really are. I think his thing was I didn't really understand what it meant or anything like that. But at the same time, this was a guy who had a big deal about kneeling. He didn't kneel when his whole team kneeled because his brother's in the army and this and that. And I was on the show saying I get that. Okay, if you have a reason to stand behind something you believe in, I'm all for it. If you're actually standing up for something.
We did talk about that,
didn't we? But it's were you really standing up for that, or were you against the other thing? So I don't know. He's
a clown to me. I mean, I hate to say that, but it is what it is. I even felt back then. I think if I go back to that, because we did talk about that, and I felt hey, bro, why do I was connected to why do you feel because they are kneeling that you felt like you had to show some solidarity towards something else when this is not even about your brother and his service and stuff like that.
No, not at all.
So to me, when he did that, he pretty much was saying that, no, I have a different value system. And that's okay. I mean, we're not here to judge that or critique that or whatever. But him making that statement and him receiving the punishment is congruent to what happened not too long ago, last week when we were talking about the Creighton thing and the plantation, right? So they gave him a week away, and then now he's back coaching and doing what he wants to do. But the real highlight to me, because even then there's privilege and entitlement even in the transgression.
Oh, absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? Where if it was another, you couldn't be African American or Hispanic or some type of minority making that type of statement and getting a week. You would get a lifetime. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You would have your stuff removed from you. Again, I brought up, let's just think about it. Nick Cannon made a statement, said some things, repeated some things. They fired him, took his shoulder. That's it. Myers-Leonard is saying something similar.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't. It's like sin levels. You don't have a sin chart, so you can't weigh. Oh, this transgression was worse than this. No, it's all messed up, right? So Myers-Leonard did it, and he gets away with a week. And I would even say more. It would be more a little egregious on Myers-Leonard because he's in the moment in violence. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Oh, right.
Shooting,
right.
and you know what I'm saying? Like,
look at.
Right? No, I'm just saying, like, he's in like really charged up. And so the fact he gets a week, and coach, to your point, to him to say that I have to be more careful with my words, it's like, wow.
No,
but he's right. Like, yo, listen, don't reveal your real feelings.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
but that's what it did. I mean, and when you're talking about, oh, I didn't know what it meant. No, you know what it means because people say, like, if you were like 8 years old,
he wasn't a black person he was killing, calling him that name.
Right,
exactly. You didn't know what it meant.
If you're younger,
You know what I'm saying? Like, who you fooling?
If you're younger and you use a word, sometimes people do when you're young. You don't know.
You don't know.
But when you are grown and you use that word, you know that there is a negative connotation to it.
To a certain type, a certain specific group of people.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I didn't know what it means, and I'm so sorry. No, you're not sorry. You're not sorry at all. I'd almost rather guys come out and be like, no, I'm not sorry. This is what I mean. And I don't like these group of people. I mean, you can't say that.
I like that title, Privilege in the Transgression, because that is what it is.
No, I mean,
that's what you're seeing.
You're absolutely seeing. I mean, with Myers-Leonard, he gets a week away, like you said, $50,000 of a $9.75 million contract for this year. I mean, which is basically chump change for him. Cultural diversity training.
Well, the only thing I say in regards to that, because you're right, it is chump change, but I don't know. Chump change is money to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure it still hurt.
No, I mean, it did, but
I get what you're saying.
Right.
I get what you're saying. I
I
look at things literally sometimes.
And the thing is, though,
take $50 away from me, I'm upset.
I know, but again, I mean,
I don't think, and this is no disrespect to anybody, I don't think $50,000. I don't think he sneezes at that.
No,
because here's what I'm saying.
In comparison to what he
should have lost.
Oh, absolutely.
I
give you that.
honestly feel like
it's like if you're speeding or you do something wrong, and the cop's like, all right, listen, this ticket should have cost you $400. I'm gonna write this down. It's got $25. You're like, here's $25 right here.
Right now, right? Yeah, I got you. You're right.
You know what I mean? So I don't think now, I don't think that hurts him at all.
Yeah.
No, and I think that with something like that, they should have said, listen, we're gonna. But again, hitting it in the pocket is not an answer.
It's not the answer.
It's not the answer. Even if they said $500,000 fine, which is something that they're like, okay, $500,000, he would have then, raised an eyebrow to. But that's not the problem.
There's a bigger issue.
Yeah, it's the bigger issue. And I think that you hit the nail on the head with the privilege of transgressions. You know,
Privilege
and
and
how
transgression.
there is, there still is no. I think you referred to it as a sin chart.
There's no sin levels.
No
transgression levels. There's,
Yeah.
We're all judged. The thing is, I guess the thing is that is the system where the system is not congruent or equivalent is you transgress. That is primarily, or a good guess, a good assumptive guess is that's what you would get. Okay?
No, I mean,
if I transgress like that,
I mean, we're seeing it all over the place.
done. And that's the thing that hurts. So even when I hear this story, I'm still like, yo, listen, you know what? You know how many people call, or how many people for years have called African Americans or even Hispanics to that same level of derogatoriness of a name, and they don't go to no museum, ain't one person been to the national, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
These are the things I think about, where there's no congruency. Like, I think it's great, Edelman, right?
Yeah.
He's saying, come be educated, this and that, and you're gonna have to go because, he puts it out there, and you're gonna have to go. So he's smart about what he's doing.
You know what? I don't know. I get the vibe from Myers Leonard that he doesn't give a shit, and that he's probably not going to take that invitation.
No, he's gonna take it. No, he's gonna take
If he
it.
wants his career to continue.
Right, he has to take it. That's why I said it's strategic by
I
Eidelman. So
get
he
it.
has to take it. But the thing is, there's no invitation to the Smithsonian Institute of African American History. There's no invitation there. There's no invitation to the Hispanic type. I forget what that's called or whatever. But they don't. When do others become educated about all cultures? That's where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
When there's a transgression.
And you said though, like you hit the nail on the head, and I mean, I feel like I'm gonna. Can I get a okay to use that in the future? Because you're right, that transgression chart.
Oh yeah, okay. I wasn't sure what you were
The
asking.
privilege of transgression.
We've talked
Tell you
about
this guy.
that. We've talked about
I don't know if you want to say that.
No, he's not saying that. He already
No,
knows.
no. Okay.
We've already had that education. It's okay.
No, not at all. Not at all. We're not.
Right. I was like, wait a minute, hold on.
We're gonna like commercial break. We'll be right back. But with that said, when it comes to transgressions, to go over to now the high school level, and you can relate to that. We had the situation where you had the guy out in Oklahoma, and he, blatantly called not just even to a fellow adult. He used it on a high school basketball streaming. I'm not even repeating. Obviously, the derogatory term, fucking end towards these young girls kneeling for the national anthem, and he blamed it on his diabetes. And he said, I say things that I don't mean because of my blood sugar. And I know, Marcus, you said it when we were in the break that there was a comment from one of the parents that said, my son has diabetes. They've never said anything racist at all.
Sure.
And even, it was brought up by a camera lady, that, what you say, it can impact the diabetes, your blood sugar. But again, it's almost like when you were drinking, and it'll kind of bring out the truth.
Yeah,
but
listen,
the thing is,
listen, if I don't feel well, it's going to be, there's so many things that impact me with the things that I say. It could be diabetes, it could be I haven't ate in 2 days, I haven't eaten in 2 hours, I can have hypoglycemia, I can have gas, my stomach, it's all kind of shit that could make me say all kind of shit. Like even right now, that's just making me say things. Anything is, but you're responsible for the things that you say.
Yes.
Stop making excuses. It's here. That's how you feel. It's okay. It's okay. Things happen and the door gets open. Yes. It's like that with humans, and it's I talked to my father, and he was helping me process some things with, when you realize you think people are your friend, and they switch up, but they're not really switching up. You just now opening your eyes. Yeah. It's just now starting to be revealed. The doors are being opened. So my thing is, you just opened your door. You saw something that triggered you to make you open your door, because most people are always on display. Everybody's on display. What I mean by that, we're all living in it's an image. You don't get the in here. You're getting what I decide to show you. So really, it's all a facade.
Yeah. And you know, and you go to this gentleman. This gentleman was a white guy who was the announcer.
In
Obviously.
Tulsa, though, see, and you got to be mindful of that. Tulsa, you had Black Wall Street in Tulsa, so you had, I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but you know, you had Black Wall Street, I think it was Greenwood Street or whatever the case may be, where blacks were, you know, prospering and had their own banks and all type of, you know, pretty much they generated their own economy within that town, and they came in and burnt it all down. So there's a huge history of racism in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh yeah,
big time. So is it like, you know, is it blowing my mind that somebody from there is saying some shit?
Not at all.
No, hell no.
But you go to it, and like I said, then you've had some experience with announcing and whatnot for high school basketball and whatnot. If you were to say something, the outrage would have been so much more.
It doesn't. Everywhere I go, you have to understand that this is probably pretty much. I can't even say this is really like freedom for me, because that's what radio and sportscasting and you know, it's particularly radio. It's supposed to be freedom, where people can have a voice. I can't exercise my true voice. I can't, because I have kids that I need to feed. Now, if I was by myself and I just wanted to be rogue and be a rebel and really stand for the cause, then I could do that. But bro, if I say certain things, I can't feed my family. No. So I'm already muted by that. Society has muted me. And everybody needs to know that, particularly amongst, and I'm sure I know I'm not the only African American or, you know, Hispanic male or minority male that feels that way. But I know, particularly within my culture, African American black men, I know you're muted. I know you're muted. And some that are out there, I take my hat off. But you trying to feed your family, and you're going to have to work with certain people, whatever. Everybody tell you, for lack of a better word, shut your ass up. You better not talk and do what you got to do. Okay? Straight up.
Marcus?
No, I mean, that makes perfect sense. I agree with it. I think with the announcer, for me, I guess it's like, I don't understand how things like this linger. So, so it happened, I want to say maybe Friday.
Yeah, I think it was Thursday or
Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And like, there's still no like closure to it.
No.
Meaning, was he fired? Is he still doing games? What happened next? Like, what's going on? And I think if you know, roles reversed or other situations, like, that's just handled. It's over.
Period. It's done.
And that's why we were saying, like,
so I just don't get that part of it.
And that's the issue too. Is like you said, it does linger on. Like you said, if we know that if you had said something, I'm going to say yes. That next day, not even the next day, by the time that day was over, you would have been out of a job, or at least suspended indefinitely, whatever it may have been. You know, like you said, you know, it doesn't make it right. It doesn't say like, oh, well, this is this part, this is this part. We know that different parts of the country have different views. But again, like you said, it's just we continue to try to strive, and we feel like we're taking a few steps, and you really realize you're not. That you're not.
I never look at it like that.
So,
I never look at it like we're taking a few steps. I look at it like, you know what, we're just. Because if you look at that, it's almost like a false, like fool's gold a little bit. So you know what I'm saying. So you just gotta look at it where you have certain things that you want to maybe accomplish, or certain things that you like to see a certain way. But really, the real accomplishment is knowing how to navigate. Like if I'm in a jungle and I'm trying to survive, I'm not trying to change the jungle, because I realize I can't. But I have to figure out my way of how I can navigate and survive the jungle. And I think that the more you see these different things like this happening, it teaches you it just sharpens your survival techniques to me. To me, if I'm on the other side looking, okay, well, listen, there's certain things that I just can't say. It is what it is, versus certain things that other people can say. So you just gotta learn how to survive and navigate. From my vantage point. That's what I'm saying. You got to understand my vantage point on how I'm looking at things.
So one thing that I wanted to ask your opinion, going back to Myers Leonard. Do you feel that other NBA players should have maybe spoken up a little bit more? Like some of the big faces of the league?
Well, I think, and I'm like, you know, Coach, you take this second, you know what I mean? But I just think that, you know, they're probably sitting back waiting to see how Adam Silver going to respond, because that's near and dear personal to him.
Yes.
So he's probably just sitting back. Everybody just sitting back and say, okay,
Like this hits you now in the gut.
let's see how you respond.
Right, that's exactly what I was going to say. I think it's going to be interesting to see how, and I guess we got our answer already with like, how do the Miami Heat ownership, how are you going to deal with this?
And that's look. I mean, in that area in general too. Like a lot of their fans of the Jewish faith. Like I don't know how you can sit here and
Arison,
say.
I think Mickey Arison is. I think he might be. I might be wrong.
I'm not sure.
I think he is.
I think he is.
So I think that's what it's kind of like. Everybody's sitting back and like, what's going to happen here? And,
Right.
and I don't know if that's the right stance to take, but you know, I think it's just interesting how. So Miami Heat, or I don't know who. I guess the NBA gave him the suspension and the fine or whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
But like that's what we think. That's what this is. Like that's all this calls for. Especially a guy who's out. He's already out for the season.
and I didn't realize that when
So
you
like
said
when
that.
you say he's away from the team for a week, he's away. That
been away.
doesn't do anything.
He's been away. You know, it's just sad, man. It's just sad. And the awareness. I mean, listen, I don't care. I mean, listen, people. It's just opening the door. You know, that's why I can say. Go back to what my mother said. I was talking to somebody last night. Shout out Chrissy Mines, talking about this, and it's back to this old thing my mother said. Say, yo, listen, when somebody show you who they are, you just gotta believe them. You gotta pay attention. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I think Miles Leonard was showing us who he was before, but we applauded him for that. Where we didn't look at him, and that's because there's always a fine line. You know what I'm saying? So.
There's that navigation.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I don't think, unfortunately, this is not going to be the last incident where something happens.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to be discussing this again down the road. Whether it be a coach, a player, whatever it may be. Like I said, we got three incidents in the last 10 days.
Right, and the Creighton coach, I think, is the one that's like crazy. Like,
how
do you say all that? But yeah, you know what? You get to come back.
Yeah, a week later, like it's crazy. I mean that's.
You know what? That statement is almost. To me, I think it's up there and similar to the Don Imus with the Rutgers, and calling them nappy headed. You know what I'm saying? So I think that statement is congruent with that. Yeah. With the plantation, listen, we have to have everybody on the plantation. Everybody must buy into the plantation. So what you're saying is that you're the master and they're the slaves. That's what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Because you're smart enough to know what you're saying.
And that's what makes the Creighton coach coming back even just more outrageous. It was like that. But again, you have to look at the culture probably of that university.
Where is Creighton at? All I know is that's Kyle Cole, right?
Indiana.
Okay. Kyle Cole went there, right? He went to Creighton.
Yeah. Okay. Good name drop there.
Okay.
So
it's in Indiana, so there's a lot of racism. Indiana, especially when it relates to basketball.
Yeah.
If I'm mistaken. Where was that story from? Where was Glory? What was it?
Glory Road?
Glory Road.
That was Indiana too, I think. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was.
For some reason I thought that was Kentucky.
Mm-hmm. I think that's Indiana. That's Indiana. I believe.
There is, like I said, we're gonna be seeing this again, unfortunately. But every time that it does happen, like we're doing now. Bring it to light, let it be known, express it, because education is the only way to answer it. But
I will say that I remember Indiana with the Hoosiers. That was always my favorite basketball movie. I love Hoosiers.
Good movie.
It's a good movie.
I'm ashamed to say I've never seen Hoosiers.
Oh my God! Well, that doesn't surprise me with your jump shot and your shooting, and you've seen.
I see Space Jam, and
No. You've seen baseball movies though.
Oh, absolutely.
Let me ask you.
What's the best baseball movie?
What's the best baseball movie? See, this question to me.
Don't say Major League.
No, don't say Field of Dreams.
No, I think it's a terrible movie.
Okay.
Is that with Kevin Costner?
Yeah. I like, but I think it's so. I don't
hate the movie. It's overrated.
I watch it when it's on sometimes, but I think my favorite
The Rookie
baseball movie. No.
It
depends on what you want.
Mr. 3000 was hilarious.
That's a terrible movie.
That was terrible. That was hilarious, man.
A League of Their Own, man. I love.
That was good.
A League of Their Own.
League of Their Own's a good movie.
That was good.
And then I love this Sandlot.
Sounds
I've
great.
never seen it.
What?
Never seen Sandlot.
That's like, oh man. Sandlot,
Okay.
because there's not a single person who can't relate to the Sandlot. But I mean, when it comes to actual, like, the movie, like baseball movies, like I said, I think that at the end of the day, League of Their Own is like.
What about the Bad News Bears movies?
Yeah, those are funny too. And Walter Matthau was funny.
Yeah.
The original, not these remakes.
Yeah, I got you.
You know,
I liked there was a
61 was a great movie too.
I've never seen that.
That was great.
I seen the one with Ty Cobb. I thought that was good.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But I've seen there was a movie with what was his name? Tom Selleck in Japan.
Oh.
Yeah.
I forget.
What is that called? I know you're talking
That
about.
was terrible. That was it.
That was a good movie, man.
No, and I mean, obviously too. I mean, like all the ones that are like the documentaries, like League of Their Own, 61, 42, all of them. Great.
Oh, 42 is a great movie. Right.
movies.
What about last one? What about The Rookie? That was Dennis Quaid?
Yeah.
Mr. Baseball.
Mr. Baseball,
yes.
right.
No, that was okay.
Yeah.
That was okay.
Yeah.
You know, but there's a lot of good ones. But I still always say, you know, A League of Their Own. Some people say it may not qualify as a baseball movie.
That's one with Tom Hanks, right?
Yeah. But I just think it's such a great story. So,
Okay.
but you know, oh, man, that's a good debate for another show. The best sports movies of all time. So.
Well, Hoosiers is a great basketball movie. I thought so. I thought it was a great movie.
So,
You know what I mean?
yes, I obviously have to watch it. What do you think? I know this is kind of off topic. What do you think of the Space Jam 2 coming out?
I didn't like Space Jam 1.
What?
No. Actually, I've never
That's
seen
a violation.
I've never really even seen it.
See, okay.
Never really seen it. I didn't, what was it? Bugs Bunny was like shooting threes or whatever.
The Monstars.
Yeah,
Jordan.
Yeah.
Jordan. That's all that matters.
I mean, it had Jordan
I don't
in
watch
it.
anything with Jordan in it.
Yeah. I mean, Jordan could do a cooking show. I'd probably watch it.
I just
All right.
didn't really move me. Dare I say, I like Rebound better than that. With Martin Lawrence.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
White
That was a
Man
good
Can't
movie.
Jump.
That was a great movie.
That was a great
It was
movie.
a great movie.
Which one?
I don't know if I think the best back. It might be He Got Game. Or Above the Rim.
Blue Chips.
Oh, Blue Chips is a good one. It's a good, very good one.
That's a good.
No, that's a common topic for another.
We should have like you know, we should do like a tournament style of different things.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I like that. The top movies in each sport.
Oh, that might be real
Not each sport.
targeted. You know what
But
I'm
you're
saying?
saying the top
Sports
the
movies
top
and
30,
stuff. Yeah.
Top 16, Sweet 16, top 32.
I think yeah, top 30 or whatever, 32 or whatever.
Okay.
I'm sure it's
We can do
32
that.
sport movies.
But now speaking of Space Jam,
Shay can help us. Can you help us with that, Shay? We can't hear you. That's all right. I'm joking.
oh, she said some sign language.
I know.
But speaking of Space Jam, and there was a gentleman there, Mr. Patrick Ewing. Shout out.
Ewing, not
Yeah.
Hewing. You sound like my boy when he said Hewing.
I'm telling you
It's
today,
Ewing.
you know.
Okay? Ewing. Yo, shout out Pat Ewing, man. Like, yo, he's finally getting some recognition. I thought this was his first year. I didn't know this was like his fourth year.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
know.
I know.
And honestly, if he didn't win the tournament this year, there might have been some questions about whether or not he's the right man for the job. I don't know, because he was sitting there, he had a 500 record. I mean, obviously, you know, he's got the history and the cred and whatnot.
Right.
But I just feel like that if they didn't succeed this year, that he maybe, I don't know if he would have lost his job, but it would have been kind of like, all right, that clock is starting to tick a little bit.
Yeah, they haven't gotten the recruits that
Recruiting, right.
Georgetown normally. I mean, I can't even say normally gets because they haven't had him in a while now. But no, he's doing a good job. I think he's got a lot to prove. You know, he wanted the Knicks job, didn't get that, and I think he's got a lot to prove now. And I don't want to put an ask. I don't want to. You know, I'm not a Patrick Ewing fan, so I don't really care. But like, if Villanova's healthy, we're still not talking about Patrick Ewing.
No.
Yeah, actually, I just think that's like a way of discrediting.
It's exactly what it is.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's anything if anybody's healthy. But you still come to play, and who's to say those? We talked about recruiting, so even the scrubby ones on Villanova could be the same level of recruiting that Georgetown could be doing.
But it's different if So when you have two guys that have played all season go out, and now you're inserting two guys that haven't played a lot, that's a different than having your team that's been solid the whole time.
That's true.
You got two guys. One guy was player of the year in the conference. He didn't play. I mean,
why didn't he play?
Torres, Evans.
It just happens. You know what I'm saying? These things happen, man. You know what I'm saying? No, and not to discredit his injury or whatever, or show compassion for his injury, but it's the same argument that people make. Well, if Draymond Green plays.
Oh, I was waiting for something else. Okay.
No, see, listen, you keep talking to me about this Carson Wentz. I'm gonna go in now. You know what I mean?
But I think I hear what you're saying. I think that kind of thing is different. I think when you have a team that is not on the same level as the team, and they come in, and the better team isn't fully ready to rock, and they lose, I think there's an asterisk.
But one teams have lost to 16 teams. 16 seeded teams have beat one. And okay, but lower seed. Let me change my language. Lower seeded teams have beaten higher seeded teams all the time in this. That's why we love March Madness. Sure. That's why we love all this. Like Kemba, I mean, they had like a memorial or something of how he got busy or whatever.
They just had the anniversary too.
That's what I'm saying. Like so. I mean, listen, man. Listen. You caught a break that. But you still gotta. I mean, come on. Jay Wright's still out there. He Hall of Fame. He gonna be a Hall of Fame coach. He won.
He didn't have any points though.
No, not this game.
He didn't score this game.
But with the tournament, and
did they win back-to-back title?
Jay Wright?
Yeah.
2 and 3 years.
2 and 3 years.
Oh, 2 and 3 years.
I mean, and that again, the one against UNC was just an unbelievable championship game.
That's when my man hit the shot, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Where is he?
Say that.
Okay. All right. You know what I like from there? It was Scotty Reynolds. Was he on that team? He wasn't on that championship team, right?
That was
It was after.
Yeah, that was after. Sky Reynolds was already gone.
Yeah.
Oh, he was gone before they won. Oh, okay, yeah. I like Scotty Reynolds. He was tough, man.
He was. And it's like I'm just excited to see the March Madness coming up. Tonight being Selection Sunday, and I think that this tournament is unlike any other tournament. I mean, you're gonna have no Duke. You're not gonna have any Kentucky. You're not gonna have the big name schools. And it's just, which is fine, obviously. But this year is so wide open. I mean, honestly, every year you go into it, and there's usually 2 or 3 teams, 4 teams that you think might win a championship. This year, I feel like there's probably a dozen teams that potentially could, get to the Final Four, or even get to the championship game. I think it's so open. I just hope that it works itself out. I know that, even just the other day in the ACC tournament, Duke had to pull out due to coronavirus, issues. And I just hope that nothing like that comes up in the next week or so, with this tournament,
No, I feel you. I started pondering, and it's still early, so I hate springing forward. I'm going to be honest with you. I love the fallback. I don't like the spring forward. You know what I mean? I don't like the time change. But I did want to bring this up. What did y'all think about the All-Star game? The All-Star game sucks to me.
Well, honestly, as soon as a Sixers fan, as soon as Joe and Ben weren't playing, I was checked out.
It doesn't feel authentic.
Well, I mean, the teams weren't fair. It was like big teams, and it was like, wait. How do you get him? Whereas I think last year's All-Star game was the best All-Star game ever.
See, I don't remember that shit.
When they were actually like taking charge.
Oh, they were right. Okay,
yeah.
right. Okay.
Like,
see, I want to see that.
I just want to go.
I mean, the teams weren't. It wasn't a close game, so they weren't.
I want to go back to the old way. I want East versus West.
Yes.
I want the old format.
Me too,
I want the
man.
old good jerseys.
Yes.
I'm
okay with even you wearing your own individualized jerseys and stuff like that. But I like maybe it's something about maybe I'm caught up in nostalgia. Maybe it's the same argument with people making with Coming to America and Coming to America 2. You know what I'm saying? People like oh, Coming to America 2 sucks. I'm like, well, because you know what? Because you really remember Coming to America 1. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I just you're shooting these shots and everybody gets to 170 and. No D being played. Yeah.
I think that this year, that was just because the game was never close.
Yeah.
was never close.
Yeah, I mean,
Whereas
last year, you're right.
I think it was much more competitive.
And shout out Doc Rivers though. I didn't even know that he was one of the coaches, man. You know what I mean? So it's good for him, man.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Like I said, I could like to see him go back to the East versus West.
Me too.
I mean, that's just, and that's just.
I think it was more exciting when
It was.
East Coast West. It's almost like like Biggie and Tupac. You know what I'm saying? Like East versus West, man. It's always like that.
Oh, and then you would root for whatever team. Like we root for the East and whatnot, and being a Sixers fan. So I don't know. I that's what I always thought. I always thought too that when it comes to the jerseys, I need the jersey like these All-Star game jerseys. I like it worn in the game.
Yeah. What about the dunk contest? What you think about all that stuff?
That was terrible.
Right. What about 3-point contest?
I didn't watch it.
No, that's what I'm saying. Nobody watched anything.
I watched a little bit of it of the 3-point contest, a few minutes. But like I said, I hated the fact, and I know it was because of COVID, but not having All-Star Saturday night checked me out too. Like, because I look forward to that. I would be okay, I'll watch, and you just watch all three events, and that's what, so I think, I know they did it for safety measures, but I feel like if they were going to have the game, they could have already had
the same.
They could have
It
had,
didn't matter.
what's the difference at that point? You could have had All-Star Saturday night,
Exactly.
but, I mean, I don't know, that's my thoughts when it comes to that. Like I said, I'm looking forward to the tournament, the selection Sunday today. I love Tuesday, the Tuesday game, because you have like the mini tournament within the tournament, because you have all the teams playing in the playing games, and
Is that starting this Tuesday night?
That'll be Tuesday night.
Okay, good.
And I think it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean,
This is around the time I start to watch college basketball.
oh,
I
yeah.
don't really watch it up until unless there's some some teams I really like
Right.
like that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, like I'm a Michigan guy who lost yesterday in the Big Ten semifinals.
Wow. Well, you were a Michigan guy like Weber and Jalen Rose, Fab Five.
Well, no, it was later on. I've been a Michigan guy since I was probably, I want to say only about 12 or 13.
Okay.
Because my cousin went out there, and that's when I started following.
Oh, so it's not like you okay? Like who was your favorite Michigan player?
Now?
No, ever.
Oh, ever? Oh, I always was a fan of. Well, you had to love Desmond Howard. Are you talking about basketball?
What do you mean? He's a football.
You talking about football or basketball?
Oh, you was. Oh, I think when we talking about
What I'm saying-
March Madness,
Look,
and
I
didn't
know,
what
but
we
you're
talking
saying who's
about.
my favorite Michigan player ever. See,
I think you're talking about basketball.
Well, I mean.
Oh, you switched. I didn't know you switched like that.
So you said ever.
Okay. I thought you were a Michigan basketball fan.
I root for Michigan in general.
Oh, okay. For everything, lacrosse, it didn't matter.
Lacrosse,
Okay.
Lacrosse is really good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm following. I'm not really a follower of the lacrosse team.
So all things Michigan. You're all things Michigan.
If they're there,
Okay.
if they're there, I'll support
I
it.
get you.
I apologize.
Yeah, I got you. I was just confused. That's my bad. Did Archie Bradley go there?
No, Archie Bradley didn't go there.
We know Carson did. Go ahead.
Oh, we almost made it.
That's
We
right.
almost
See,
made
right,
it.
yes, we did.
Oh my
It's
God,
all
we
good.
almost made it.
Well, oh man, I'll tell you one thing though. It's going to be exciting. And like I said, I love it. I love March Madness. Scrap your brackets. It's funny. They always have the perfect bracket challenge to win $1 million, and it's like it's never going to happen. It's
I
not.
stopped filling them out. I don't even fill them out no more.
No, but you know what I liked back in the day when you would, I would
Open the paper.
Open the paper.
That's right.
And
That's what I'm talking
and you had
about.
to really be precise.
That's
so
what
you
I'm
didn't
talking
You couldn't
about.
just print out 25 brackets.
Right.
So that's why you knew how to be
That's
precise.
that's what I miss.
And you had the highlighter out and watching
Right.
the games and circling it.
Right.
But it'll be fun. But it doesn't even matter now. If there's an upset, I don't care how it impacts my bracket. I'm always rooting for the lower seed.
I just want to see a good game. I want to see some good games.
Oh, and you will.
The last time I was watching it, what was that? Florida Gulf Coast.
Yes, yes.
Coast, right?
Yes.
Dunk City.
Dunk
Right.
City.
Yo, who was nice out of there? Somebody got drafted, right?
Nobody ever panned out.
No. They had beaten. What was it? Was it when they beat? Was it Virginia?
They beat a 2 seed.
Yeah, they were 15 over a 2. I remember that.
They were tough though.
But they made it out to the Sweet 16s that
Made it
year.
to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
So it really was Butler that really was,
Butler was always.
they was always getting busy. They had Gordon Hayward.
They made it to the finals twice in a row.
Right.
Yeah, they did.
Right.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Like I said, with that, I'm excited for that. Just the next couple weeks, kind of getting into our final thoughts here. I think the next couple weeks, like all of us, are just interested to see what happens with the Sixers and how they're able to hang, and who steps up, who doesn't step up, what moves are made, and, kind of how much and how quickly Embiid can return, and also, what does this do for him as far as long term of this season goes? The stamina, the conditioning, if it's 2-3 weeks of nothing, then you're going to have a little while to come back. But like you said, as long as they stay in that top 2-3 range, you're more than likely able to get through that first round, and can kind of ease him back into it. I know you were saying you think maybe it's only going to be 2 weeks, and that's what I hope it's going to be. And in a couple weeks, we're going to have baseball, and I'm looking forward to that too.
Oh yeah, let's go like Yankees, man. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go, right?
I don't think it's the Yankees.
I know how can you?
Yeah, you can't.
How can you? 27 championships.
27.
Right, how can you, man? It's all good though.
No. Marcus, what's your final thoughts?
Same, it's pretty much similar to yours. Looking forward to all this basketball coming up. Looking forward to see how the Sixers do without Embiid. Obviously, March Madness should be loads of fun, and I think there's gonna be a ton of upsets just because it's such a weird year. Also, I think interested to see what happens with the Sixers in their trades. Something's coming. I think there's going to be a couple teams in the NBA that may try to do something big. So I think the landscape will change. So I'm excited to see all that, and hopefully this weather can work with us.
Yes.
I need the weather.
Yeah. Now, it was interesting, though, real quick. I didn't realize they were doing the playing games again this year in the playoffs for the NBA.
Yes.
And so that'll be interesting.
Oh,
that'll be cool. So, Jay, what's your final thought?
Just looking forward to, this upcoming week. Got some things going on. But just, looking forward to that basketball and Sixers. The same thoughts, man. Starting to slowly transition into the baseball a little bit. I start tuning into some Yankee stuff and start reading some Yankee stuff and see what's going on or whatever. But look forward to this week, man. It's, it's good. The weather has to change. I'm already out. I did the backyard, trying to get this grass right. Trying to do different things. I'm trying my hardest, my absolute hardest, not to pay nobody to do my grass. Because for whatever reason, people feel like because I live in this, whatever they call nice area, they think that everybody got like the finances.
The lawn service.
And the lawn services, the pricing. I give you an example. To rake the leaves from the backyard to the front yard, they wanted like close to like $700.
Oh, I would have done that for like $100.
Right. You know what I'm saying? It's like astronomically crazy prices, man. To cut the grass, they want like close to now like $60 or whatever. But then they a la carte everything. So it's like, where I think that you mow the lawn and weed whack should be one price. They like, no, the lawn mowing is 60 and then the weed whack is like 30. I'm like, dang, everything a la
That's like
carte.
getting a haircut, they don't do the sideburns.
No, but that's a great comparison because now the haircut back in my day was $15, $20, everything. Now it's just the cut is like $17. You want the beard, and that's just the beard. That's $5. The mustache is $2.
Yes.
And you want the razor, that's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So sometimes, like me and my man was talking about it, his haircuts was like $60.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Cause he's like, no.
Okay.
Cause he was like Wallace in New York.
Okay.
He had some popularity or whatever. So to get his haircut, it was $60. I was like, damn, $60?
Wow.
That's crazy. Shape up is like $35, $40.
Yeah, I mean it is expensive.
Yo, shout out my man Al, who been cutting me up ever since. And he do it
attest
right
to that. Al has cut my hair too.
for the appropriate price, man. So we shout, go see Al Cuts. You know what I'm saying? Al the barber.
I'll have to get back to Al. He did it right that one time when I went to see him.
You only did one time? I thought you got cut by Al a few times. You used to go to the shop too.
Yeah, you're right. It was a couple
Right.
times.
Yeah,
now.
come on, man. You know what I'm saying?
I forgot about it. It's been a while.
It's been a while, man.
So, all right. With that said, once again, we appreciate you watching. Let's get it. You want to go back on today's show in our second segment? We had head coach Kristen Przbilski from Eastern High School Girls Basketball. It was a great interview with her. Go back, check us out, watch the other segments from earlier today. As always, you can catch us on the YouTube channel, The Four Walls Foundation. All of us, all the time. You can catch all our segments on our Facebook page. We're always looking for more people, additional interviews. Once again, for Marcus Bullock, Jason Bryce, I'm Randy Duncan. Thanks for watching Let's Get